We all have our favorite Tekken games. As you can see from my gameplay in this video, Tag 1 will probably always be one of my personal favorite Tekken games, despite it being objectively broken. Some people like Tekken 7, some strange people like Tekken 4, people with refined tastes like myself like Tag 1, and nobody likes Tekken 8. But I think it's safe to say that with hindsight, Tekken has had multiple peaks as a franchise. Tekken 3, Tekken 5, and Tekken 7. Two of these games people would classify as legacy Tekken games. Real Tekken. Since around realistically Tekken 6, people have been voicing about how Tekken is slowly losing its identity, and Tekken 8, the newest game, decided to go ahead and speedrun all this progress by turning the game into a brain-dead 50-50 fest that feels closer to Street Fighter 6 than an actual 3D fighting game, which of course is nothing short of diabolical. Players are quitting Tekken at a rate we have never seen before. There is currently a whole ass boycott on the game. It's gotten so bad, it's as clear as day that there is a disconnect between what us Tekken players find fun and want to play versus what the devs think we want to play. And as we move further along in the franchise, the problem seems to be getting worse and worse, to a point where it feels like we've come too far to turn back. The story in this game has become ridiculous. The gameplay has become ridiculous. The entire aesthetic of that game is ridiculous. Is it time for us to reset? Does Tekken need a complete reboot, a fresh start, to start all over again from the beginning? Well, I'm here to yap about the prospect, so keep watching the fucking video, bro. We have to think about what brought us into Tekken. What captivated us about this gaming franchise that never made us want to leave? Of course it's the gameplay, it's a fucking fighting game, why else would you be here? Tekken, in my opinion, is the most unique fighting game ever created. There is not another fighting game that exists that remotely plays like Tekken. Even other games within its own genre like Virtua Fighter, Soul Calibur, etc., they have nothing to do with Tekken, they all play completely different. In my opinion, what made this game so unique was the character designs, and that means actual visual appearance, but also their gameplay. Older Tekken games had a way of creating characters that actually felt real, like you was controlling an actual fighter, meaning the entire character was a unique individual and different from all other characters. They would firstly have a move list of like 100 fucking moves, which has always been like a Tekken thing. No other fighting game really does this. These characters would have their own unique animations and playstyle with strengths and weaknesses. Take Feng for example. He comes into the game using Chinese martial arts, all these super flowing expressive movements, but still coming in and hitting you with fast relentless attacks, and his game style even represented an old form of Chinese torture, death by 1,000 cuts, staying loyal to his Chinese origin. Death by 1,000 cuts in this context meant that Feng was a low damage character that would poke and poke and poke and chip away at you slowly but surely until you were dead. His strength was his unlimited number of strong pokes. He had a poke for every single situation and excelled at being up close to the opponent because he lacked good long-ranged and even mid-ranged attacks. Having these elite pokes came with the downside of having low combo damage and damage overall. Because if you can just keep hitting your opponent, but you're chunking the fuck out of them every single time that you do, it's not really death by 1,000 cuts, is it? It's death by like 13 cuts. Also, if you're able to constantly hit the opponent because your pokes are so good, doing the same amount of damage as everyone else is just unfair, even from a balance, oh my fucking god. Also, if you're able to constantly hit the opponent because your pokes are so good, doing the same amount of damage as everyone else is just unfair from a balancing perspective. But anyways, Tekken 5 was the game Feng Wei was introduced. If you can point out to me a single character out of the 30 characters that were in Tekken 5 that played anything like Feng, I will name my firstborn child after you. I didn't think so. But gameplay isn't even the only thing that made these characters so unique. Look at the designs of all of these older Tekken characters. Pretty much every single character in this franchise is an instantly recognizable, iconic design. Also, wait, if you want more Tekken content like this, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Now watch the rest of the video, please. Of course there are some misses. I'm not going to glaze the fuck out of these games. Angel is literally just an angel. I've never really been a fan of Asuka's design, and the furry characters, for that matter, even the furry characters are some of the most iconic Tekken characters ever. Like Roger is literally just a boxing kangaroo, and Kuma is literally just a bear, and they're still iconic. Even Asuka, whose design I don't like, is still iconic. You can tell that so much passion and attention to detail went into these older Tekken games to create perfect characters. Perfect. Even if you didn't like the character, you knew that character was like whole. Like, when you look at a lot of newer Tekken characters, they feel like super unrefined, even unfinished, and that goes for gameplay and design. Like, take Shaheen. Shaheen has a really cool concept to work with. He's like this Kakar Eagle soldier guy. In my opinion, this character should have had numerous jumping attacks that crush lows. He is literally an eagle guy, and eagles fly fam. He could have had lots of sharp piercing attacks that like force crouch or have pushback stuff like that. Tons of approach tools he can swoop in with because he's a fucking bird. But no, let's make Shaheen's animations as stiff as possible. Even though he's the eagle guy, let's even make this backflip feel like he's moving through mud, because why not? Let's also like make him good at everything and not put a single thought into character identity, because being good at everything is good, right guys? Lame as fuck. Shaheen is not a Tekken character. Shaheen is a collection of assets. Other examples of just super lame unoriginal characters are dudes like Leo, Lars, and even Leroy. Like, Leo is unoriginal on all levels. Jack of all trades character, he's technically using some type of Chinese martial art, I don't know. It doesn't really look like it, I'm sorry. He just looks like a guy doing yoga at the park fam, and his design is some of the most normie shit in the entire series. The only thing this character has going for them is you don't know if it's a boy or a girl, like who cares? Lars gameplay wise is unoriginal. Literally just a 50-50 character that can 50-50 you from literally anywhere on the stage. No thought went into that. Even his design is normie. Oh look, I'm a cool anime guy. That's the design. They have had 3 main games to flesh out Lars, and he still does the exact same generic shit. And as for Leroy, what the fuck does Leroy even do? Leroy has a super cool and unique character design, but his gameplay, what even is this? Like, he has one stance that he spams for offense, and he has parries, I guess. He's the only character in the game that has a one-time use move in neutral, and the character still feels like generic slop. These guys creating these characters just don't have the ability to replicate what they were doing in these older games. The newer characters don't have any charm, any flair. They just feel like blank palettes that haven't been painted properly. And maybe that's because Tekken as a whole has moved towards this 50-50 style of gameplay. So to make a new character good, they just give them a good 50-50 with good generic stuff and they'll be good. So I guess there's no reason to add anything unique to them. Everything that I have said about the characters can be said for the gameplay. Older Tekken games just had more charm to them, because it was essentially one martial artist versus another, and the focus was on the fighting style, the moves. Like the backgrounds of the stages, the hit effects, none of these things took away from the 2 characters on the screen. The effects were subtle, the backgrounds were subtle. It actually highlighted the 2 characters to some degree. Whereas now these devs want everything to be like, whoa, explosions and in your face. Going against a Clive and not having an epileptic attack is literally a medical miracle, with all the hit effects, mini cutscenes and random bullshit that doesn't even need to be there that's on the screen. The stages in this game, Clive's stage literally has a fucking demon blowing shit up in the background, taking away from what you actually want to see, the 2 fighters in the middle of the screen. Tekken 8 has completely forgotten the fact that it is a 3D fighter. Everything in this game tracks to some degree. Even the moves that claim to be entirely linear, I have seen clip people. String realignment is at a premium. So even if you do make a read and successfully step your opponent, you're still going to get hit. Crushing moves in this game are at a premium, where that used to be a character specific kind of thing. Like Ling would have crushing properties because she's an evasive character. Now everyone has moves that crush. Even in Tekken 7, literally the previous Tekken game, having the ability to control your opponent's movement through having strong homing moves or tracking whatever was a character specific thing. Not everyone could do this. This particular ability added to a character's gameplay design. Like in Tekken 7, you don't step Ganryu, ever. And the reason for that is because Ganryu as a character is someone who limits everything you can do. He is a sumo wrestler. His design philosophy is controlling the opponent like a sumo wrestler. Why Jin Kazama, the karate guy, is able to completely remove the 3D aspect of the game just by existing, I have absolutely no idea. I went through this in another video, I'll probably link it like right about now. It's that older Tekken games didn't have homing moves, and tracking moves were a premium asset you had to think about before using. This means that movement was the main thing about Tekken, as it should be because it's a 3D game. You could not be good at an older Tekken game with bad movement. You could not get away with it because everything you're doing is going to get stepped. And if you can't do it back, you're cooked, buddy. Also, realignment was key in these older games, naturally, which added another layer of depth to the game because your opponent can pack you up if you're moving to realign because you are not blocking. And as we're on the subject of movement, Korean backdash was probably the single most important tool for you to learn in every other Tekken game, not named Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 because it's nerfed so heavily now. In newer Tekken games, you are actively punished for using movement. It's actually insane. So one of the main things about Tekken, which made Tekken the franchise it is today, is barely even a thing. So we've talked about movement and we've talked about character designs. Let's talk about Tekken's story. I think we have gotten to a point where the Tekken story has gotten so ridiculous that even casual fans of the series are like, okay, what the fuck? Like Angel Jin, bro. Heihachi coming back from the dead, bro. Heihachi really tipped it over the edge for me. Like, it showed that whoever is writing these stories are willing just to take back any impactful death at any given time. Like, the way Heihachi survived this fall, it didn't even make sense, bro. They just needed a cash grab, and Heihachi is Heihachi, you know? I don't think anybody was really taking Tekken's story too serious anyway. It's really just in the game to be like a bit of chaotic fun. Like, it's literally regular dudes dodging bullets and fighting primordial entities, fam. Like, it's not supposed to be mad serious. But like, doing what you did with Heihachi, like, what is even the point of watching these cutscenes, bro? They literally mean nothing if they can just revive any character at any given time, fam. Come on now. This is also one of the main reasons why it may be a good idea to reboot the series. Imagine we could go back to the very beginning with black hair Heihachi and young Kazuya and no Jin. All the way back to Tekken 1 with legacy gameplay with updated graphics and mechanics. Of course, I'm not talking about heat here, I'm talking about minor things like throw break changes and quality of life stuff. A lot of times, less is more. A reboot would literally be the easiest way to start from the beginning without any excuse. Like, if you want to escape all this Heat 50-50 bullshit, just remake Tekken 1 and give it a rank mode and start the series from scratch. I promise this would do well. Also, I'm aware that Tekken 1 and Tekken 2, I think, those are 2D games, so obviously make them 3D, you know. There's so many ways you could go about doing this as well. You wouldn't actually have to follow Tekken 1's roster character to character, because DLCs are a thing. This doesn't even have to be like a one game off kind of thing. You could legit go Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tekken 4. You could even adjust the story to make it actually legit. You could literally redo your series and fix every issue that these old games had because you have hindsight now. It literally works for both sides. Basically, every Tekken fan wants us to return to real Tekken, which a remake would provide, and Bandai Namco, in the end of the day, is opening up a fucking cash cow with potentially at least 8 more games that require no fucking thought, just upgrades. Everyone wins. However, I do want to say this. It's very easy to recognize people who didn't actually play these older Tekken games because those guys never seem to bring up all the bullshit that was in these games. And I'm not talking about little, oh, this is a 12 frame heat engager. No, I'm talking about like plus 20 on block down forward ones and shit. Like, these old games had some serious bullshit, fam. And if we were ever to return to that, I'm not sure if everyone would like that. However, if they were to be remade, more than likely these things will get tuned out. But yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. If you liked the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys.